Everything is your fault. Yes, you read that correctly, and no, that is not clickbait. Your successes, your failures, your happiness, your sadness, all of it is your fault. And if this is a tough pill to swallow, well, buckle up because we're about to challenge some deeply ingrained beliefs. And by the time we're done, you might realize that accepting this idea is not just freeing, but it might be the most empowering decision you ever make in your entire life. This is a concept that's easily misunderstood, but it's one of those mindset shifts that can and will change your life. But let's start by unpacking what we mean by everything is your fault. It isn't about blaming yourself for everything that goes wrong or punishing yourself for life's inevitable up and downs. The term fault here means accepting responsibility, even for things that seem beyond your direct control. It's about recognizing your role in the outcomes of your life and, more importantly, understanding that you have the power to change these outcomes. And many people associate the word fault with guilt or shame or blame, but that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about ownership, owning your actions, owning your reactions, and ultimately owning your entire life. Imagine starting your life at the very bottom with nothing. You're broke, you're sad, you're depressed, you're weak. But then one day you decide enough is enough. You work tirelessly, putting in the long hours, and one day you become a self-made millionaire. Whose fault is that? It is your fault. Not your parents, not your teachers, not anyone else's. It's yours. You did that. But it goes both ways. If you're put in that same exact situation, but you choose to stay that way your entire life, again, whose fault is that? It is yours. Not your parents, not your teachers, nobody else's but yours. Because if you cannot take responsibility for your failures, how can you possibly expect to take responsibility for your successes? When you decide that everything is your fault, you are just saying that you have control. You are no longer at the mercy of circumstances, other people's opinions, or just random events. You become the captain of your own ship. When you own your actions, when you take responsibility for both your wins and your losses, you don't just open up a door, you smash it wide open. Yeah, you can play the blame game and point fingers at everyone else except yourself, but you're just going to become a victim. And what do victims do? Absolutely nothing. They stagnate. They wither. The victim mindset dilutes the human potential. By not accepting personal responsibility for our circumstances, we greatly reduce our power to change them. Shifting blame might feel good in the short term, but it is a trap. It is a vicious trap. It'll suck the power right out of you and leave you stranded, stuck in a life that you do not want, while you're waiting for someone else to come and save you. You're waiting for the world to change instead of changing it yourself. And that mindset will get you absolutely nowhere, I can promise you that. If your life is heading in a direction that you hate, you have to understand that there is nothing else to do besides change direction. You need a belief that I cannot go that way anymore, I have to go this way. Because I'll say this again, absolutely nobody is coming to save you. And don't misunderstand me, this is not about drowning yourself in self-blame. It is about empowerment. It is about grabbing the wheel of your life and steering it in the direction that you choose. Because blaming external circumstances will only make you feel sorry for yourself, and it'll make you believe that there's nothing you can do to change it. And you'll probably become a chronic complainer, and I can guarantee you that absolutely nobody has got what they want by complaining. But the good thing is you can turn this idea of fault into a dangerous weapon of personal empowerment. But first, we need to change how we view fault. When things seem like they're falling apart, don't curl up in a ball and cry, don't wallow in despair. Instead, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? What can I do so this doesn't happen next time? If something bad or unlucky happens to you and you say something like, oh, the world is just against me, which is not true, or, oh, of course this happens to me. Are you surprised when bad things happen to you when you practically invite them into your life with expectations like that? You should not be at all. It's just like how you don't notice a red car on the road until you actively start looking for one. When you are actively expecting and looking for bad things to happen to you, you're going to find them, I promise. We're not dismissing external factors, and we're not pretending that the world is a perfect place where you can control every single detail. Like if you were in school and you were getting bullied and someone started a fight with you that you couldn't avoid and you got beat up, you might not have been able to stop that fight from happening, but what could you do to make sure that never happens again? Well, you can get in the gym, learn how to fight, get bigger, get faster, get stronger, and make sure that you're ready for something like that to happen. Was it your fault that you got dragged into that fight? Maybe not, but was it your fault that you didn't know how to fight when you needed to? There will be people who are bigger, faster, and stronger than you, but that is no excuse to not be the hardest worker you can possibly be. But it's all about balance. Taking responsibility does not mean carrying the weight of the entire world on your shoulders. Understand what you can control and focus on that and only that, and just leave the rest. Don't let it have power over you. And remember that this is not a magic bullet. Understanding this concept does not mean everything will suddenly go your way. What it does mean is that you now hold a tool, a weapon even, the power to adapt, respond, to grow, to learn from every single situation. It's about stepping up and moving from a passive observer of your life to an active force shaping your reality. But I want you to take a second to absorb what we've talked about here. The idea that everything is your fault is not a blame game. It is a call to action that I needed at one point. Because ultimately, even I know I am nowhere close to where I want to be in my life, and I know that is my fault, and the only way I will get there is if I take responsibility for it. And this can sting a little bit sometimes, but ultimately it's the only thing I can do. I have no other choice. choice. But I know that I have the raw power to turn any situation on its head, to find a lesson in every single failure, just like you do. And I know this can be a challenging concept, it can be a slap in the face, but I want you to embrace it. Use this as a catalyst to push yourself, to take charge of your life, to become the best possible version of yourself, because the bottom line is this. When you understand that everything is your fault, when you truly grasp that idea, you become an unstoppable force. You become the master of your own fate and the world is yours to shape. When you think everything is someone else's fault, you will suffer a lot. When you realize that everything springs only from yourself, you will learn both peace and joy. And with that, thank you for watching. I hope this video lit a fire within you. Just never forget that you have the power to do anything that you want. Stay curious, stay vigilant, stay true to yourself. I love you.